Ain't that peculiar? You, 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 you. You do me wrong, but I'm still crazy about you. Stay way too long, and I can't do without you. Every chance you get, you seem to hurt me more and more. This hurt makes my love go stronger than before. I know flowers grow from rain, but how can love grow from pain, baby? Now ain't that peculiar? Ain't that peculiar, baby?
With God's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer, all the praise of gratitude belongs to the Almighty, the Most High, who has created death and life to test which of us will be more excellent in our conduct. Prayers and peace upon the Prophet Muhammad, and peace upon all the prophets, and peace be upon you, dear learner, dear soul who has tuned into this program. I am Dr. Z, greeting you in light, love, peace, and harmony. So today I'm, kind of going to be all over the place. Got a lot of ideas, a lot of things to look at, and I thought I would title this today's conversation around getting unstuck to move forward. And, you think about it, what does getting stuck mean? What does stuck mean, really? I mean, have you ever found yourself looking like you're just doing the same thing every day? I mean, you get up at the same time, right? You go, you have your same ritual. I mean, you get up and you sit on the side of the bed and you just kind of sitting there. I got to go to this job today. I got to go to work today. Maybe be with some people that I don't really want to be with, and doing some things I don't really want to do. You're not at the point where you're ready to jump out of bed and say, "I love my life." It's just kind of drudgery. Well, that might be a sign of being stuck, right? Maybe. Then you go through your process in the morning and you go to work, drive the same way to work every day. Right? Get there, same people, same old stuff, right? Go through the day, same challenges with people. Maybe you're being supported, maybe you're not, right? And you get off from work. Same problems at work. Get off from work, come home, go home the same way. Get home, fix your dinner, have your dinner, however you do that. And then you sit down and, watch some TV, maybe watch Family Feud, Steve Harvey, get a few laughs, and go to bed, go to sleep, start over the next day, same old thing. Anybody ever have that kind of situation? Well, many of us do. And we can consider ourselves stuck, especially if we don't have, a vision for what our life is. We've become co-opted into somebody else's vision and somebody else's mission. We're become a cog in somebody else's dream because they're building their business. You're supporting in your job, you're supporting their vision and what it is that they're wanting to contribute to the world, right? So if that sounds familiar to you, then my question would be, are you feeling stuck? I mean, I know I have from time to time. And sometimes when we get stuck, and it's like we're living on automatic pilot, just going through the motions. Every day, going through the motions. Well, that's going to lower our performance. Right? It's going to drop because we don't have that thing that's driving us towards our excellence. Maybe you do in that routine, but I know for many of us, we don't. It's like we just strive for mediocrity. Let me just do just enough to get by, just enough to stay off the bad list, just enough to keep my job. And, is that the way that life is really? I mean, is that what life is? Is that what the Creator created us for? Status quo? Just kind of go through the motions? All I wonder. And a lot of us, we want to get rich. What is it that you want to accomplish? We have a finite amount of time in this life on this earth. What is it that you still want? You got to decide. Some people, they want to start a business. Some people, they want a new mate, or they want a mate, period. Some people want other kind of material things, which means you have to give more service. If you want to make more money, you got to give more service to more people in order to make more money, earn more money. But what is it that you want? Some of us want to get rich. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about the 35, 45-year-olds. They want to start a business. At that stage in life, you've kind of gone through enough to realize that there's more for you, whatever your life circumstances are. And I think around that time, as you move toward that maturity of 40 years old, on 5 years in front of it or 5 years after, I know I got this bug that there was more to life, more that I could do and be and have. So, if you're feeling like that, then we're here as a resource to help with that. Then you also have, the group that's maybe 50 to 60s, right? 50s, 60, 65, and they know, they're getting on short time. I mean, even if they lived 100, they're gonna have less years, right, and less productive years than they had to get to 55, 50, 60. And so some of them, I want to start a business. I mean, I know, personally, after working for 30 some odd years, I realized that, hey, I got 5 years to retirement. So I'm going to start this business. I'm going to take everything that I've done in my life and figure out how to package it so that I can start helping people and create some revenue for myself when I retire in 5 years. And that was a spark for me. So the question really is, what is it that you want? What do you want at this stage in your life? What's missing? And if you want to get rich, then understand that getting rich is not doing certain things, but is doing things in a certain way. And this is Wallace Wattles. He wrote the book, The Science of Getting Rich. And there is a science to it. Now, maybe for most of us, we haven't learned how to do that, right? So we find ourselves stuck in patterns of behavior. We're stuck in patterns of thinking, stuck in patterns of feelings that drive our behaviors and our decisions. And it was interesting. I was talking to another friend about the word decide. And they said that, and I'm trying to look up what are the endings of these words. So he was saying that IDE, when you have that at the end of a word, that means that something's got to be killed off, right? In other words, you got to stop something. You got to kill off something else in order to begin something else in life, right? And I just found that to be very, very, very interesting. So, you talk about homicide, right? Well, that's killing, right? Suicide, right? So when you decide that you want something different, you want more in your life, you got to kill off something. You got to stop doing something. And ultimately, it becomes figuring out what is it that we're thinking and feeling inside that needs to be killed off. Because a lot of this stuff is what's been planted in us. You know, awareness is consciousness. We have to have consciousness, and our consciousness is energy and power. And the guidance that's here in the universe and is written in, you know, scriptural languages and offshoots of those are really for people who have a consciousness of the Almighty and live their life consciously. And that means that they will be obedient, and they will be accepting of the mission that they've been given, the purpose they've been given in life, and they will be grateful for that. You see, and they have connection in what has been taught with the universal principles and laws that's been operating in the universe. They have some connection to that. You see, that came before, and the ultimate for them is that they will be prosperous. They will be successful. Now, you can define prosperous and success a lot of different ways, because we have three aspects of our life. You know, the spiritual aspects, we have the mental, the intellectual aspect, and the physical aspect. And I want to thank Muaz for joining, and also Gina. Thanks for watching on Facebook Live. And so these three aspects of life, all of them, we want to live to the fullest. You know, if we're spiritual and we're not mental and we're not physical in terms of a balance, then we can't live the fullness of life. And if our existence is physical and we're neglecting the spiritual aspects of life because we love this temporary world so much that we spend all our money on physical things and our time and our energy, you know, on how we look and dressing up our body, but we're not dressing up our soul in the spiritual context with a consciousness, then our life is going to be unbalanced. We have to live all three of these aspects in the fullness to have balance. And so the habits of thoughts, the habits of behaviors, the habits of feelings and things that we have are mostly other people's habits. They're mostly other people's programming of languages and ideas, perceptions and biases and limitations, and even falsehoods that come from other people. So who decided what it is that you would do? Who decided what it is, that you would be? And most of us, these things were programmed us when we were children. You know, the haves or the have-nots, right? Other people's influences. Our parents, right? They do the best they can, but they come up with in environments, oppressive environments, word environments, physical environments, mental environments, emotional oppression that affected the way that they dealt with parenthood and dealt with us as children. And they all did the best that they can. We're not blaming, complaining about it. It's just the reality, a fact of life. And so we become censored and conditioned, and we're looking for unconditional love, right? That's really all we want, right? But the love that we get growing up is attached to conditions, you know. But the bottom line is that you get to choose, especially once you get to a certain point in your life when you become aware, you know. Instead of being programmed for mediocrity and settling for less, oh, well, you know, at least I have a job. You know, that's the best I can do. And let's do the minimum and just keep going at that. But you know you really want more. And you know inside of you there's an urge that you really can do more and have more and be more. You know, they say successful people, they raise their income to reach the standard of living that they want. They don't try to cut back down to a substandard. And if the more that you wish for, the more that you will become. I remember I had a situation, and I just hollered at my man Roland, who's in the studio with me tonight. Roland Grimes, what's up there, good brother? Hey, glad to be here with you, man.
What's up, my brother?
Hey, you know, life, love, and happiness, man. That's all I know.
I just wanted to tell you, man, when you left here the other day, man, I ran into a brother, and he introduced himself to me, and he said, I just wanted to let you know, man, I tune into the Dr. Z show
Oh, that's
on
nice.
Wednesday nights.
pay you.
I said, okay. He said, that's why I saw you, because I heard your voice and I had a little gander of you, man, doing one of his shows. I said, my brother, God bless you. Man,
Yeah.
that was a good thing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, you know, to get feedback and know that you, at least somebody's tuning in to what you're putting out there. And now your show is on Mondays, right?
Yeah, my show is every third and fourth Monday. I share the month with Sherry and Mignon. They do a piece on domestic violence and relationships. So I gave up 2 of my nights per month so that they can get that very important message out to folks. But I'm Monday nights, third and fourth Mondays, 7 o'clock p.m. And of course, August 12th, Saturday, August 12th, Roland Grimes Show on stage, part 2. Man, I'm excited.
Yeah, where's that going to be?
That's going to be at the Black Box Theater.
Yes.
Same place.
Yes.
Later time, so more folks can make it out. 7 o'clock p.m. Saturday, August 12th at the Black Box Theater. And man, we're really looking forward to sharing and connecting folks again in a very special way, man. What do you do? In studio, in the station, live on location like we did with you, live on stage.
Yeah.
And man, we got some more surprises coming up, man. So it is a wonderful mission, man.
Yes, it is. Matter of fact, I didn't make sure I get some of the footage from the when y'all came and
Yes,
recorded
sir.
me down at Sankofa Bookstore.
Yes, sir.
And we're looking for other opportunities to speak. I'll just say that out to everybody. I got to speak. I realize now that I got to teach every day. I got to teach, study every day.
Well, you got a surprise coming in short order. We worked out some space in some other locations, and we're going to do some small set training with the Happiness Campaign,
Okay.
and it's going to be a sponsored events.
I love that.
So you'll be contacted shortly by me and the crew, and we're going to set something up so that we get a small group of folks, and you're going to come in and you're going to instruct and teach the principles of the Happiness Campaign, and then more. We're going to get it on film, and we're going to actually use it as working sessions to help folks get to where they need to be and then chronicle it, man. So that's coming at you actually in September.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
a lot
man.
of things.
That's exciting. So that's hot off the press. I just inked it this week. So got a nice little spot, man. Real comfortable where we can just go and do something different. Sit in some nice leather chairs in a little theater type room.
Yeah.
And let you stand in front of the group and do your thing, man.
Yeah, well, that's
gonna be
nice.
exciting, man.
That's what. Yeah, thank you. I'm grateful for that.
Oh, you earned it, brother.
And well, I'm trying to earn. You know, that's the whole thing. I mean, I keep doing what I'm supposed to do here to earn God's favor, and you know, that comes through serving people and helping people. So, I was saying how, and hi to Judy, peace be unto you. Welcome back. I was thinking about, making a statement that when you wish more, then you become more, right? We're always in the state of becoming.
Always in a state of becoming.
So I had a car, right? I had a kind of car that I have. I don't know, whatever it was. The monthly note was about $300, right? And I saw this Acura. This was some years ago. I saw this Acura TL. I fell in love with it.
Yeah, that was sharp.
Yeah, it was the 2004 version. Right, classic design, and I said, I want that car, right? I was wishing for more, but the note was like $550, right? I never paid that kind of money for a car, and it wasn't that my credit wasn't all that great, but you know. But anyway, that's what the note was. So I went ahead and I got the car, right? And because I wanted that car, and I took the steps to get that car, I had to become more in order to pay that note, right? You know, now my choice could have been just to settle for what I had or go backwards, but it was something that I wanted, and I got good service out of that car for a couple of years, and that car ended up leading me to another Acura TL. I ain't gonna tell you how much that note was, but it made me evolve even to another level. So when you wish for more, you become more automatically because your desire for what it is that you want, if it's growing your business, if it's growing your relationships, if it's getting a promotion at work, right? If it's some service in the community that you want to do, right? You know, who are you and what is it that you want to contribute to the world? And once you can decide those things and begin to put yourself out there, it's kind of like you sending out a signal out into the universe, out into the spiritual world that here I am, right? I'm surrendering to this calling, and then it's going to respond back to you with people, with opportunities, with the information, whatever it is that you need in order to fulfill that purpose and that mission. So you got to make a choice, right? We're talking about getting unstuck, right? And moving forward. You got to make a decision. And we're living in a new economy now, right? It's not the way it used to be, right? And we don't have an option about changing the future. We have to move into it, whether we like it or not. You either follow the new rules or you lose out. So 3 questions to ask yourself. What am I doing? What works? And what doesn't work? So I know my friend Gina's online. These 3 questions for you to answer, right? Gina has a business. You know, those of you who wanting to, matter of fact, Gina, we need to get you on the show one night because Gina is a yoga master, and she has a studio where she does yoga in DC, twists and turns. Send me that link, Gina, on Facebook Live so I can announce it. Those of you who are you want to increase your physical health, then Gina is a good place to start. Twists and Turns is the name of her business. You can find her on Facebook. You can find her, you can Google. But she's really great at what she does, right? So, ask yourself, what am I doing? What's working and what doesn't work? And then make up your mind to kill what's not working.
You know, one of the things, Dr. Z, that I can share with you that I'm working on, and it's now crystallized. You know, more often than when you have thoughts and ideas, impulses, compulsions, it takes a while for it to crystallize into a concrete thought process, aspects of project management, design, research, design, implementation, evaluation, et cetera, right? And we do that, and women do it naturally because they have to do it all their lives. Men often do it by executive training. So I've now sold myself on, and I've made the decision to create separation from the pack. So I'm involved with this eLife Media. So I said, well, while I'm here and I have my hands on it, let me create separation from other venues of similar level. Let's create separation, and with that comes distinction, and with that distinction leads to other types of opportunity. Okay, but when you start to separate, and folks haven't seen that module before, sometimes it takes them a while to catch on or to catch up, because, as you know, kind of in a routine. So I remember several months ago, I hit a guy and I said, hey man, I need a daily show. I got to get a daily show. I said, in order to separate, I don't know of any internet-based station that has a daily talk show.
Okay.
I know of networks.
Right.
I know networks who broadcast on the side online, but coming straight from internet, I had known of none. So I said, that creates separation. Well, lo and behold, I'm starting to get feedback from folks, and this show starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm starting to get feedback from folks who are saying they're tuning into Steve Harvey, and where they were going Steve Harvey 6 to 10, they're going to Steve Harvey 6 to 9, and at 9, they're switching over to the Peace in the Morning Show.
Nice.
Tom Joyner, and now they're switching over to the Peace in the Morning Show.
Nice.
And they're finding something there that they're not finding on those other stations.
Mm-hmm.
They're finding some fluidity.
Mm-hmm.
They're finding some rhythm. They're finding a different sound. They're finding space for them to participate a little differently through the Facebook responses as you get, being able to call in, and even being able to make suggestions that lead to some of what happens from there. Because what happens a lot of times when you're syndicated, you get so big that and it's a great thing. You're making good money, but by the same token, now you have to start traditionalizing more and more what you do, commercializing more and more what you do.
Right. You can get stuck in that routine.
Exactly.
Right?
So
Yeah.
now what it does is it creates opportunity for folks who are being creative to come fill some of that niche, because people keep hearing it over and over again. Now they say, "Oh, this is something fresh and new," and they start coming over. Talk to them.
Well, that's what people want, and that what you're talking about is going to the next level.
Okay.
Right. And two things that come up. One is understanding that whatever it is that we want to do, it's an organic process. Growth is a natural thing. Everything in life is about growing and transforming, right? You don't plant the seed today and have a plant tomorrow, right? It's a process. So when you have that thing, that urge from inside, that desire from inside, that's the power of God speaking to you, right? That there's something that you want to do, is particularly if there's a problem out there that you're trying to solve, right? Okay. So understand that process, that it is a process of growth and development, right? The baby takes 9 months before it's going to come, right? Okay. So the other thing is, and this is Wallace Wallace.
The baby takes 9 months to come, but his parents may have lived 20, 25, 30, 40, 50 years before they even get to that 9-month period.
True. Well, that's true.
Isn't that something?
Well, that's true. But they had to decide that they wanted a baby.
I understand.
unless
I understand. No, I'm just saying though.
Yeah.
But prior to that 9 months,
So what
there's a whole lot of seed
saying,
planting.
there's a lot of development that's going on
Exactly.
prior to the conception of the baby. Okay. And that's the same thing with the ideas that we have, right? Okay. I mean, it's taken me 40 years.
To become an overnight
of trans-
sensation.
Up to yeah, that's what they say, right? On this transformation journey, right? To get to the point where now I have transformation off to the world, right? And that's why probably in September I'm going to start a group mentoring, an 8-week group mentoring class, and it's for people who want to one particular goal they want to accomplish in any area of their life, whether it's spiritual development, financial, business, family, career, physical development, right? People want to lose weight, do things with their health, right? Mental development, people want to write books, whatever it is. It's going to be an 8-week class, and we're going to help you accomplish whatever that one specific goal is that you want. So if that's something that you're interested in, right?
Oh, so that's something that if you're interested in, everybody has a goal.
Well, we hope, we assume everybody has a goal, right?
Yeah, everybody has a goal.
Okay.
So
everybody has
we're
one.
going to take that
question
presumption.
Is, yeah, the question is, and thank you, Roland, for helping me there. The question is, do you want to accomplish it?
Well, and that's where guys like you come in.
That's exactly
because
right.
you take my desire for a goal and you help me to get motivated to accomplish it.
If there's got to be something that's missing, otherwise you would have already done it. I mean, I got people who, I got a guy who wants to write this book, and he's been talking about writing a book for years, for decades. Some of you, maybe if that's a goal for you, or I want to start a business. In fact, I'm reading some stuff out of my book here, Jumpstarting Your Business, because one of the things I want to do is mentor business owners,
Okay.
right? And actually, there's a home-based business. It's a one-day workshop or event. You can Google it at 3BB. I think it's 3BB home-based business. Or you can look up JTI Coaching. is something that's going to be coming up in September for those of you who want to start businesses, home-based businesses. But this book here, Roland, you know about this one. This is when I 3 years into my first run at business, because my business was training development, professional development for 10 years. I was in business. So this was year 3. I said I wanted to write a book to help people lessen their learning curve when they want to go into business, right? And this was based on some of the work that I did in terms of my dissertation around transformative learning. And so what came out of this is that there's a learning model for transformation, okay? And we're still talking about getting unstuck and moving forward, right? And we're talking about stop doing what doesn't work and put all that energy, time, and money into doing what does work. So the first step in this is resisting change. And I talk about how I talked about going into business for 10 years, but I resisted the change. I resisted moving in that direction. And life circumstances come, right? Sometimes what we want is not the right timing. Sometimes what we want, we're not ready for it because we haven't done what we need to do inside in order to make that move. But one thing about human beings, when we get enough dissatisfaction and pain, that's usually when we'll decide to change. So you got to ask yourself, where's your pain right now, right? Because that's a good thing that's going to drive you. That's where real transformation begins, when you have some dissatisfaction and pain. And when you have enough of it, that's going to drive you to stop resisting change, Stop being complacent and reactive. The other thing that I wanted to mention, though, about what you were saying was that when we're trying to get rich, it's not going to be on competition. Like, for example, wherever you are at this moment, you start your business, you're not going to be able to compete with the big folks. So you don't do your business on competition. You do your business on creativity. When you're talking about something that's fresh, right? Something that's new, something that's outside the box. I mean, all of the superstars that we know in entertainment, in industry, you think about artists, right? I mean, they're bringing something that's new. What was it? Ray Charles combined gospel and what was it? 2 venues, 2 types of music he combined. I mean, Prince.
Gospel and R&B.
Yeah, gospel and R&B, and people they weren't used to it, they didn't like it, whatever. But he became what he became because that was what was in him, and he was being true to that calling inside of him. And we can list a whole bunch. I mean, Prince, anybody you want to mention, they have their own voice, they have their own style, right? And that desire, that urge, because it was something that they wanted. Really, what is it you want? You want to release that power that's inside of you. And that desire is that power is from the Almighty.
And very poignantly spoken, one of my favorite genres is P-Funk. And I make no bones about it because that's always been an academic study for me. And they first started working on their craft together as an entity in 1957. They did not experience commercial success, radio commercial success, essentially, to any significant level until 1974, 1975. So they had been working together for 18 years. And they had one cut in the late 60s, I Want to Testify, that went big, went up the charts, but they couldn't sustain that. And I say that because artists, business people, folks who want to lose weight, in essence, there's some similar characteristics between us all. We're looking to break out of a place that we're in, as you said. We're stuck. We're trying to break out of stuck.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We're trying to break out of stuck. And what happens is once you break out of stuck, then you reach another place you're stuck, and then you break out of that stuck.
Yeah.
So I always think that I've learned to think that sometimes goals, the goal that I have to separate is new in terms of crystallized thought. but I guess my action was always moving in that direction. But I didn't identify that as such because I had other goals that I was trying to accomplish. One of my biggest goals, and this is very specific to my conversation with you, Dr. Z. One of, I'm not going to say, can you guess, because we haven't had a lot of personalized discussions about a Roland Grimes and what his day-to-day is. But to share with you, over the last several years, my number one goal over everything else was to support my oldest daughter through high school and college until she got to grad school. And everything else became secondary to that. All of my business decisions, all of my life decisions, all of my income decisions, my moving decisions, everything, my social, my dating decisions, everything was secondary to that. And my brother, she's now in grad school at Florida International University.
Congratulations.
Thank you. In Miami. And she went there 3 weeks ago and started her summer program.
Yes.
And she's there. Now, it doesn't matter whether or not she understood that or understands that, because I didn't get a chance to deal with her on a daily basis for her to see what I was actually going through myself to help her get there. She didn't see, she saw mom's day-to-day struggle. She didn't see mine.
Right.
She didn't see the hits, the arrows, the disappointments, the month that I had to sleep in my car, to make sure that she had what she needed. She didn't see that from me on a daily basis. That's okay. So I don't expect her to fall on the sword for me tomorrow because she didn't see that out of me. That wasn't God's purpose for her to see that from me. That's okay. But that was my number one goal. And once that was reached, now I say crystallized because I'm free from that one.
Yeah.
And then the other one became more specific and clear to me. So I was able to call Reggie. I was able to call you. I was able to call certain people and say, look here, now I have a vision towards some things that now I can put in motion, because not only the investment that I was making financially in her to get to where she needed to be, because when you do the math, me and her mother combined spent $73,000 a piece on her education from the 12th grade. $73,000 a piece. Dude, I got three kids. That's one. Right? So when you do the math, that's how much of an investment that just the money part, not the time, right?
Right.
So now that she's reached that, now those dollars don't have to chase that part of her life anymore. So now those dollars can be redirected into another kind of foundation. So I was able to buy some eLife Media mugs and donate them to the station to help with the ambiance and the professionalism and the look of what we do. How significant is that? Is when I look at the talk and the View and all that on TV and Ellen and they have their mugs. I said, man, why can't we have mugs?
We can.
So we got mugs.
Yeah.
And that was something that I was able to do as it became, as I say, it became more crystallized. I said, now what we're going to do is we're going to start buying audiences and buying subscribers. We're going to start, because one of the ways that you build your audience on the internet, and I don't know if many people know this, you buy it.
Yeah, I paid for a couple of ads on Facebook just to send out a couple of videos that I did last week on self-leadership. And I got more viewers, and we're gonna keep at it. But you're talking about a couple of things really important. I mean, one is, whatever that goal is, right, it's got to become, a magnificent obsession.
Okay.
You got to become obsessed with it. It's got to become like an addiction to you. That every day you are doing whatever that critical inch is to move that thing forward, right? Sometimes it's one step forward, 2 steps back, but you keep moving forward, because the movement is how you're unstuck, right? You being stuck is no movement, right? So, but understand that was driven because of a vision that you had.
And if you're in a car and you're in the mud and you keep trying to go forward, right?
Yeah, and
right. You have to put that car in reverse.
Yes.
As well. in order to get out of that mud. So stepping backwards is not always a regression. Stepping backwards is also an opportunity to get unstuck to move forward.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And where are we stuck? We're stuck in our mind.
Okay.
We're stuck in our thoughts and our feelings world, right? And so as long as we're resisting change, we're resisting that urge.
Slow that down. You said we're stuck in our mind,
We're stuck in our mind.
existence, and our feeling world.
Yeah,
I
look.
believe that's what you said.
Anything that you want to do is accessible and available to you in America.
Come on, say it again.
Anything
what?
that you want to do as a soul, as a person, as a black woman, as a black man, as a white woman, a white man, a young, or whatever, anything that you want to do in America is available and accessible to you. We can't say, oh, I can't do it because it's a white man, right? We can't say that. Now, maybe our grandparents could say that. Maybe even
because the
parents.
law supported.
Yeah, and there are still systems in place.
Well, systems, but not those kind of clear-cut
Not the laws, right. But for us now and the generation that's coming up, anything that you want to do, you can do. But part of it is understanding that we get stuck in our mind and in our feeling world where we don't think we can accomplish it, because we've got somebody else's thoughts and habits and biases and perceptions and falsehoods in our mind, our DNA, that's preventing us from getting unstuck and moving forward. And part of it is we got to learn what it is that we need to do to get to the next level. See, here's the thing, and I'm doing a lot of studying, and I think it's hopefully, I don't know, hopefully in it, as I continue to learn and develop and transform myself, I'm bringing fresh information to you that I'm assimilating through my studies, okay? And one of the ideas is that when you learn something, you learn it at a certain level. Whoever teaches you, right? Whoever you learn with, mentors you, you are learning it at a certain level. And then you begin to practice it at that certain level. And then the urge comes in for you to take it to the next level. But you can't take it to the next level because you didn't learn the next level. You learned at one level. And so your mind and your feeling world is stuck on that level that you learned at. And now, in order to go to another level, you got to learn what that level is. That's why in this particular model here, resisting change is first, accepting change and the values, and then reflecting in self-dialogue. If you don't reflect on yourself, this is why the question, what am I doing? What's working, right? And what's not working, right? Those questions are what help us reflect. Questions are the beginning of learning. But it's the quality of your questions that's going to determine the quality of your life, right? This is what I learned in my transformation 40 years ago. And we've been doing the same thing. We've been using the same process. It's just now it's become so refined. And we've been able to help people. And now is the time for the next level to help even more people, right? So, you can hashtag me, hashtag Dr. Z Happiness on Facebook. I'm starting a page, Engagement and Happiness, for people who want to join in the conversation. I got a couple of things I want to do coming up. Some 7-day self-leadership challenges to help us address the mindset where we're stuck at and begin to see things from different perspectives, Because, just think about them. Okay, you played sports, right? In college, high school, college. When you went from high school to the next level of college, there was another learning that you had to have to get to that, to perform at that next level. People that go from college to the professional ranks, it's another league, it's a whole nother game. Well, that's how it is in whatever it is that you want to do. And you're so right. You got to have an obsession with, I got to accomplish this particular thing or die trying. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's got to be tied to some vision. So what is your vision? And I'm saying that to anybody. Do you know what your vision is? I'm also offering some mentoring for business owners and for executives and anybody really, one-on-one mentoring that deals with self-leadership. Because if you don't know, there's internal work that you got to do around your own personal vision, around your own personal mission, around what are your values, right? We talked about stage 2, and this motto is being clear about the need for change. You accept that you need to change instead of resisting it. And then be clear about your values, right? If you don't know what your values are, then your life is not on a solid foundation. You probably have somebody else's values that you're operating, right? And then what is your purpose? Why are you here? You know, you were conceived in love and born with a purpose, right? And I know what mine is. It's transformation. It's growth, because I've done enough exercises. I've pursued myself. You see? And I want to help you do the same thing. So we'll be offering these things. And again, if you want more information on what we have to offer you, then hashtag Dr. Z Happiness. That's all you got to do on Facebook. So yeah, it's a marvelous life we've been given. And the rent we pay to be on this earth is service to other people. But we gotta self-reflect. We gotta have dialogue with ourselves, and then we have to be willing to learn. You know, to learn, to get supportive relationships, mentors. I mean, right now, one of the things I say, I'm a speaker. I've decided I'm a speaker. I'm going to speak. I got to teach. So I'm studying some of the classic speakers, right? Bob Proctor, Earl Nightingale, right?
Wow.
So I'm studying them because these are Wallace Waddles. I'm studying them. Yeah. So some of the stuff that we got tonight come from my study of Bob Proctor, right? If you like that stuff, we're working on it. We're working on it. We're going to infuse all this stuff into these 8-week group mentoring programs, into other speeches that we want to do, right? Into our one-on-one mentoring and our work with organizations, right? Because you got to learn it and you got to build it, which is that incubation period.
You know, and I would encourage any and everyone within the sound of my voice to step in that direction. I had the opportunity in life where I spent a lot of time watching sports. I had an opportunity in my life where I had a lot of time spent watching drama on TV, comedy on TV, etc. Mm-hmm. And then I took time to read books, to study, to get into life lesson plans, etc., such as you're involved in right now, Dr. Z. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you unequivocally that the time that I spent doing those things far outweighed the benefit that I got from watching television over and over and over again, because essentially we're going to do something with our time. We're going to do something with our discretionary time. And then to be able to engage, even if you have children, parents, if you engage children in a quantitative learning and development process, they'll be more thankful to you for that than any Christmas gift you ever gave them. Mm-hmm. You know, so the happiness campaign, Dr. Z, and what you're doing, and I'm not saying this just because you're here and you're part of Eli family, because if you left tomorrow, it's not going to change anything. You know, the fact of the matter is, you're talking about PhD degreed individual who's taking the investment of his life and putting it back into others in this way. And the only difference between a Dr. Z and a Dr. Phil is the platform in which he was able to introduce himself to the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. And so what happens is, you know, we don't sit around and wait for those platforms to come to us, and we don't get jealous about the fact that we didn't have them. We got to go create them. Yep. Jim Brown said something around me one day. I'd love to say he said it to me, but I can't say he said it to me because Jim Brown wouldn't remember me, you know, from
but you was around him, so he was.
But no, he actually said it. He actually said it to me, you right. know. But he won't be able to confirm it because he meets so many people. But Jim Brown said, "Look, man, I don't seek opportunities." He said, "I don't seek opportunities." He said, "I create them." Mm. And from that moment on, I never forgot it. And I said, when he said it, I stepped back and wait a minute. So he's not looking to go someplace where someone else has created opportunities for him. Mm-hmm. He was a guy who was looking at how to create opportunities from himself and give it to others. Mm-hmm. And what you're doing is you're doing that. You're taking who you are, what you're doing, and you're creating opportunities for yourself. You're creating opportunities for yourself that others can participate in, as opposed to just seeking opportunities. But by the same token, you also are gleaning input, advice, and learning patterns from other people that you mentioned earlier and other people you've met in your lifetime. That is priceless. Our human existence weighs in a balance on people like you doing what you're doing. Our human existence weighs in a balance, dude. You know, we're not going to survive as a human species without developing the ability to take that God-given, that God-centered, those things that you talk about in reference to the ego, the transformation, etc. We're not going to excel and maybe not even survive as a human species if we don't participate in that process as part of our daily diet, just like we do sitting down and watching the game. We just can't.
Thank you.
We're not built for it,
No,
dude.
that's right. That's exactly right. And
It's not an option. It's not. So when I hear you saying, I say, humbly speaking, you're supposed to say that, but then I get to take another role and say, I ain't trying to hear it. You know, when you say, hey man, if you're interested, I'm like, I don't give a damn if they're interested or not. They need to do it.
Yeah.
So it's not, and I'm not saying they need to do it just for them. They need to do it for me because I need people to get better.
Right.
I'm sitting around here every week with a whole bunch of folks. I meet 100 people a month, and many of them are still stuck on stupid, really. And they're good people, but they're stuck in stupid. And I'm like, yo, you need to get off of that and get here. I'll give you a perfect example real quick. My co-host Tanya. Tanya wanted to become something. And until she took on a coach, she could not break out of where she was. I introduced her to that coach a year and a half ago before I met you. And that coach began and then she had the courage to invest in that coach that unstuck her, that took her someplace that her mama, daddy, sister, brother, cousin, nobody could because we were all trying to save her from the pain of coming out of the cocoon. You dig? We didn't want her to be a butterfly. We wanted her to stay where she was at because that's how we knew her. We didn't know what was on the other side of fly, robin, fly.
There you go.
You feel me?
There you go. There you go. That's it. Right on. And one thing I've discovered, because I have a mentor and I am a mentor. I'm looking for some of you. Those of you looking for me, I am the mentor for you.
8:10, right?
Our time is originally starting at 8 o'clock.
Oh, I thought you said you started at 8:10. I apologize.
We're going to get off the
All
air,
right,
but let me just say this. The last thing. I realize that people are drowning out here.
Yes.
And if I don't show up and do what I'm doing, I'm leaving them to drown. That's the responsibility God's given me.
All right, man.
And I don't want you to drown. I want you to save you from drowning and learn how to swim and get to the other side.
That works for me.
Thank you very much. May God accept our work here because you are almighty and you are the knower and the hearer of all things. Amen.
All right, boy.
Thank you.
All right.